Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Bernigan, 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 ABCs.
I know, I'm trying to think what I'm going to say.
Line! Your line is...
Your line is, Genie, I set you free.
Stefan, you taking over, sir?
Welcome to the Bernigan ABCs, where we cover every song from 7 to Y.
Keep going.
Wow, there we go. It's Saturday Night Live.
Joining you tonight is Jeff,
Hey, everyone.
Aaron, Stefan,
Hello.
and your host, Tracy.
Here with the really bad puns, but I don't have one tonight. Instead, I put up a wonderful backdrop that no one can
Which
see.
nobody
that
will
involves...
see that's listening.
And it's a wonderful space background, because tonight we'll be discussing the song Lazer Team.
Welcome, listeners, new listeners. You got the budget episode tonight.
I spent all of our budget on the backdrop.
Yeah, he did. He did. And not,
It's too
on,
bad
the,
you can't
and
see
not
it.
on the puns, apparently.
No,
Or the clever wit.
I never spend money on the puns or clever wit. It shows every week. So yes, this week we'll be discussing a rare song that you can only find on the soundtrack to the movie, which I don't know how many people actually went out and bought the soundtrack to this movie to begin with, or even bought this movie, but we are discussing the song Lazer Team from the movie Lazer Team.
Make way for the Lazer Team. It's not a dream. The most important battle let the planet seen. It's the Lazer Team, more than they seem. Not just a foreman alien kicking ass machine.
Done by Rooster Teeth, and I think we all kind of know why B&L got picked for this, being good friends with Captain Dynamo.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, why did Captain Dynamo not make an appearance in this? I mean, come on.
I'll be honest, Tracy. Right now, my mind is blanking, and I'm just thinking of Dynamo from The Running Man, that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, where he had like the opera singer with shot lightning, and yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. Oh, that's bad. Oh,
We're getting
man.
old.
I've never seen it. I never saw the movie Lazer Team.
Wait, what?
I kept on thinking of Taserface from Guardians.
Taserface.
But I am Taserface.
So the three of the four of us have actually seen this movie this week.
Yes.
Yes.
I wanted to stay objective. I didn't want to see the thing. I wanted to just listen to the
Take one for
song
the
and,
team, huh?
Yeah, all right.
and take one for the team. Yep,
For the Lazer Team.
For the Lazer Team.
for the Lazer Team.
I have no proof, but I think this song was written by Ed.
It
I
sounds
would-
like it would be.
I would be
written
shocked if it hadn't been
Yeah,
primarily,
that's-
if not entirely, written by Ed.
Right.
by- the one that makes an appearance in the movie. That makes sense.
The melody is very, very Ed. The puns and the lyrics are very,
Yeah.
very Ed.
The rhyme scheme. Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
background, you can definitely tell that Ed said, Kevin, throw in whatever you want here. Like, that background music is totally Kevin.
and
Someone
Kevin said, "We will do dubstep."
Yeah, Kevin pulled out the dubstep gun and started shooting it everywhere.
It's definitely laserish, like
Yeah.
80s.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait,
That's
guys,
great.
so I see a few gray hairs here. You guys, when they took the school photos, did you ever choose to have the lasers in the background? I completely did. I know my mom has those somewhere.
Yes,
I am school laser. I have to be
clearly.
honest. I did the lasers. Yeah.
And I had a
I had
trapper
a few.
keeper with lasers on it too.
Uh huh.
A trapper keeper. Aaron, you were alive back then?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I'm one of the
That's
ancient
amazing.
elder millennials. We do exist.
Oh,
I had a trapper keeper. I thought it
Trapper
was the
keepers,
greatest thing
man.
on earth.
those
Oh,
were
yeah.
awesome.
I'm gonna go to work with a trapper keeper. Actually.
But speaking of lasers, we're going back to the Lazer Team movie that this came
Yes.
from.
Oh yeah.
And
Okay.
it was written by Rooster Teeth. It stars Bernie Burns, Gavin Free, Michael Jones, and Colton Dunn, along with a cast of others, a lot of cameos as well, including Ed in his cameo, which is our cameo of the week. Our appearance of the week is him in this movie. It's a really interesting plot. It was a movie that was put out in 2015, and it got mixed reviews, but it made $1.6 million. Unfortunately, but they actually were able to raise $2.4 million in a month over Indiegogo to make this movie.
When did it come out? When did the movie come out?
2015. Well,
So-
2016 it was
serious?
released.
The budget
Oh, wow.
is
I
actually
thought it was
something
old.
I wanted to discuss because I guess there's secret numbers under wraps, right? Like we know they raised about $2.5 million for like a fundraising, fundraising project, but there was likely some other supplementary income there. But I don't think it was that much. And in other words, because Rooster Teeth did all their own in-house effects and everything, they're paying themselves. Essentially, the movie was instantly profitable. You know, it doesn't really matter. It could have made $2 and it would have made a profit, quote unquote. So I think that's why we saw a sequel, which I haven't seen yet, but I've heard good things about it, and I'm glad they made it because I really enjoyed this movie. And I went in expecting to like it. I went in expecting to chuckle, and I thought it'd be kind of a good bit of cheesy fun, and that it certainly was that. But it was actually both technically, and I don't want to oversell it because if I say emotionally, people are going to be like, "Oh, wow, this is it's not
had such
you know,
heart."
it's not Casablanca." But I think I said to you guys while we were watching it, I was like, "Wow, I didn't expect to be as invested as I am." You know,
Yeah.
I actually cared. It pulled me in, and I suspended my disbelief just enough that I actually cared about what was going on, and I was like, I was invested. It was actually really well done. Some of the effects were surprisingly good, way better than stuff that you see in movies with 10 times the budget, if not more.
Yeah.
So I was really pleasantly surprised.
And I thought the acting was pretty good. Like it
They had a
like,
good cast.
phenomenal.
I mean,
but
they had an
Yeah,
awesome cast. Like I
they
said,
did
I
very
said,
well.
Colton Dunn, I'm a huge fan of. I love Superstore and Hatchet too, and I actually love him, and so that was a selling point for me. But I'm a big Mystery Science Theater fan, so bad movies are my game. You know, I don't mind. I love cheesy bad movies. I thought it would be that, and it would be fun. Like Aaron said, I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. The gags landed more often than not. Like the jokes were legit funny. I found myself laughing out loud a lot, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I hear the sequel's actually even better, which is cool. But I thought it was great. It was a good time.
and they don't go for. They have some predictable expected gag, but there are a lot of unexpected ones that you really don't see coming. And of course, I don't want to throw out there what they are because then you'll see them coming. But I really do recommend people go out and watch this movie because it was a lot of fun. I now own it on DVD, and it's one that I've now watched 3 times, and I'll probably watch it again several times because I really love the jokes in this movie, and it's just a really good, feel-good, laugh type movie.
Agreed. Steph.
Kind of like Aliens.
Yeah, like Aliens was a good laugh along movie. A lot of good jokes in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, actually, there were.
There were.
I don't even keep up with current events, pal. We just got our asses
I was gonna
kicked.
say, are we talking Alien or Aliens? But yes, Aliens. It's a bug on, man.
Bill Paxton is
Yeah, that's true.
hilarious in
That's
that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we should probably start talking about the song that we don't get in the movie until the very
Yeah,
end
roll
of
credits.
the movie. Like, I would have expected it being the theme song to get it during title credits at the beginning, but no, we don't
No,
get it
because
until
it gives away plot information.
Well, and I
Yeah, it
think
really
that's
does.
probably it. Yeah, but we also do hear snippets of it, and also the instrumental version of it, and in key scenes in the background throughout the movie. I do want to put one line out there that was absolutely hilarious. I also would laugh and bust out if someone looked at me and said that they were the champion of Earth as well. I mean, in real life, none of us would hold a straight face if someone said that to us.
I'm trying to think of someone who would actually say that, and I can only come up with Bono from U2.
I'm the champion.
Whose ego is massive enough.
Queen might get away with it.
What, if Freddie Mercury came back?
Yeah.
I would have let him claim that title.
Yeah,
I'd be like, you are the
fine,
champion
fine
of
with
Earth,
that.
man.
Yeah,
Go for it.
okay, there you go.
He just like sings and lasers come out of his vocal cords.
You are in fact the champion of the
That would
Earth.
be amazing. Let's get shoot. What's
Also,
man.
Bono, come on the show.
Yeah, we know you listen, Bono. I actually am a big fan. The Joshua Tree is one of my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah. One of my favorite albums.
So let's talk about this song, which doesn't sound so much like U2, but I wrote down for the music of this song that it sounds more like Survivor in the modern age, at least at the beginning.
Yeah, I can hear Survivor, Foreigner. Yeah. There's a lot of 80s.
Right.
A lot of 80s influence in there.
Yeah.
Except with the dubstep, like we said, which was...
yeah. Giving it a little modern kick. Or contemporary.
Aaron, will you give us a musical breakdown?
Sure, let's break it down.
Time for a breakdown.
So Lazer with a Z Team, or a Z if you will, was recorded at 141 beats per minute. It is in the key of A major. It's actually very simple. The intro just vamps on A major, stays on A. I'm going to call that the A section. The verse, which we'll call the B section, goes from the A, which is the tonic, of course, to F sharp minor, which is your 6th degree, and then to B minor, your 2nd degree. And it just kind of goes back and forth before launching up to E major, the 5th degree, which, of course, sounds so satisfying when it resolves back down to the tonic A, which is where the chorus begins. The chorus we'll call our C section. You have A major, of course, to D major, which is your 4, to E major, which is your 5, which of course is why it sounds so uplifting and positive. We have a classically framed 1-4-5 major progression, so all of the chords are major, and they are all ascending up repeatedly. Then you have a dubsteppy, wub fun sort of interlude, which, like the introduction, is really just sitting in A major, so we'll call that the A section as well. Then we head back to the verse. There's also... the bridge section, which, did I lose my notes on that? Oh, yes. The bridge section is B minor to C minor to D to E. So you have 2, 3, 4, 5. Ascending chords again in the order they appear in the scale, just walking up the scale. But given they go from 2 minor chords to 2 major chords, once again we get a rising sound. And this time we start out in a place of kind of maybe sadness or worry, but soon enough we land in a place of confidence and elation. And of course, coming back down to E, ending on E, the 5th degree, we can resolve back down to the tonic A major, which we do back to our dubstep interlude. And then we have another go at the chorus to end an appropriately triumphant 80s sounding refrain. So what we have here are a few very kind of traditional chord progressions. The verse is 6-2-5, which when connected to the chorus creates a 6-2-5-1 progression. This is a classic progression, especially popular in jazz and other popular music in the early to mid 20th century. I didn't expect to sound so much like a character from Star Trek just then. But yes, Fly Me to the Moon, for instance, uses 6-2-5-1. Then you have 1-4-5. What can we say about this progression that hasn't already been said? It's the old reliable of the music world, especially in pop rock. But the structure is your intro, which is your A section, verse 1, B, chorus, C, dubstep interlude, back to A, verse 2, B, chorus, C, bridge, D, that's the 2, 3, 4, 5, then back to A, the tonic for the dubstep interlude, and one more time through the chorus. So A, B, C, D, A, C, or Abkadak, I don't know. I thought it was really fun. I loved the dubstep elements. That was very different. It kind of it's a very simple song, as I said, but it's well executed, and there's enough kind of interesting things in there, including the dubstep breakups, to kind of make it a little more than just kind of an average song. It definitely kind of sticks out to me. Having seen the movie, I'm not sure if that colors my impression of it or not. The movie was such a kind of fun little romp that I do kind of link it in my mind. It's very appropriate, I think. It fits the tone of the movie pretty much perfectly. But yeah, I really liked it. The recording quality is very clean. It's very crisp. It's well produced. It's 100% reminiscent of latter-day BNL, but it's reminiscent of the good stuff that they produce in the more recent days. And I'm not saying that that's a rare thing. I'm just saying that they're like, when it comes to like post-Page Bare Naked Ladies, I haven't encountered a huge number of songs that hit quite the same as when the band benefited from the creative input of both Page and Robertson. But I have noticed there are songs that fall into either like the standard rock with some country elements and or rap, which I tend to find a little repetitive and less inspired. And then there are songs where the band is clearly having fun with it and they're a little quirky, and this is one of those. If you hadn't guessed, I prefer the latter, and yeah, Lazer Team is definitely one of those.
Jumping off what you said, I think the song is definitely better if you've seen the movie. It's one of those that I don't know. I'm a sucker for this. When you're watching a fun movie, when you're really into it, and you're laughing, you're having a great time, and then that perfect song comes in at the end. If I had just heard this song without seeing the movie, I'd probably be, that's cute, that's cool. But now, having seen the movie and when it kicks in, I think that ups the scale. I mean, that ups the score for me right there.
Well, especially with the lyrical content, it's like if you listen to the Monster Squad rap before watching Monster Squad, not going to be as effective.
So, Aaron, can I ask you a question about the end of this song?
Yeah.
It takes that weird direction the last, 2 bars with the noises that it ends with on a completely different, key or whatever it is. They change chords or something. Like there's something different about that end, which for me, I didn't like that completely opposite direction.
I didn't catch that at all as far as the chords, but there was like kind of a detuned, out of tune / discordant keyboard melody that or ditty that was going over it, which was definitely kind of clashing. So that might be what you're referring to.
Now, what would from a musical point of view, what would be the rationale for doing that? If you can come up with one.
Well, I think just thematically with the song, it sounds alien, right? So it's for me, it was them trying to put a alien invasion kind of spin on it. That's just what I assumed. I had to go back and listen to that as you were talking about it because I didn't remember it at all. I guess for me, I heard it as an effect rather than something musical. I wasn't even analyzing that when I was listening to the song. It was just like, it would be similar to like when bands use like a movie clip and play like an excerpt of dialogue or something. Like I wasn't even analyzing that musically. It wasn't on my radar. It was just, it's like, oh, it was an effect, you know what I mean? It is musical, obviously. There's like a keyboard line being played. But when you pointed it out and I went back and listened, I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of discordant. It's just because it's like
actually like
it seems
the music.
to be slightly detuned, so it kind of clashes.
I thought the underlying music,
I didn't think
aside
it was,
from
it
the
didn't
lyrics
ruin
and
it for
everything,
me at all.
was
And
really catchy,
you mentioned
and it was
I was
fun,
going back to listen
and
to it. It wasn't really
definitely
something
reminded me of the
caught my
80s
attention,
and
so.
90s and bad, not necessarily bad,
Stefan,
but
what were your thoughts on the music of this song?
Music on a budget and trying to make it seem futuristic, and I like the keyboards, the synthesizers, and the beat all together. It's like I do agree that it is. Now that I listen to it again, it's like it dubstep-ish, and, but I like dubstep. I think it's got a good beat, and it's kind of toe tapping in a way, and it's fun. It's up there. It gets you kind of sitting on the edge of your seat and kind of engaged in whatever's happening. So I thought it was fun. I haven't seen the movie. I have seen the trailer of it, and it does look fun. And I didn't know it was that recent of a film, to be honest with you. But I thought it was good. I like the song, in a way. In other ways, I wouldn't put it on my playlist, but I like the music of it. Tracy, with the band?
So, Jeff, you know B&L as well as I do at this point. So,
I don't know if that's true. But
well, yeah, you're closest on this, I think, at this point.
Okay.
Did this sound familiar to you? This song, especially the chorus?
No, you're not.
Nothing's necessarily jumping out at me.
No, so I'm gonna pass this over to Aaron real quick. I'm gonna share my screen and hit play. All right, so you can hear my sound. Aaron, I want you to tell me if I'm nuts, but to me, this sounds almost, well, yeah, but around just whether or not I'm hearing things on this. But
it definitely sounded familiar to me.
Yeah, I'm bugging out now.
Aaron, you haven't heard this song yet before. We'll be coming up to this next year, but I want to see if you think that this song is very close in quality to the other song. Hold on one moment as I do my share screen here.
Oh, this is bugging me now.
Make way for the Lazer Team. It's not a dream. The most important battle at the planet's seen. Quality, it can't be beat if you're not down for with your feet.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
Holy.
Is it just me, or is
that
you're right on. Yeah.
So that's the song "Quality" that Ed also wrote for an earlier album.
This is like that time that John Fogerty was sued for ripping himself off.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, good. I heard that this weekend. I'm like, oh my god, he just totally ripped himself off. He's totally.
I mean, sometimes you get. Well, okay. So to be fair. And the reason that I said I think I already heard another song that kind of reminded me of this, although I think I was thinking of the verse. This is the chorus, and the chorus is 145. So, like, you could probably take 20% of all rock and pop songs ever written and find a section that sounds like that. It's, to various degrees, and of course, him being the same vocalist and the same, it's going to sound pretty similar. So, I don't think it's obviously not the same song, but I definitely hear the resemblance.
No, but now that you play that, and just even in that snippet that you played, I mean, structurally, it's right there. It's
and maybe, and this goes back to goes forward to what we'll discuss later on this year with One Little Slip, with how they recreated another song for that because they were specifically asked. Part of me wonders if the writers of this movie, if Gavin Free and Rooster Teeth didn't come to him saying, we really like this song, or he knew that they specifically liked Quality. And so they were like, okay, well, let's write something similar to that, at least along for the chorus.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think you find yourself in familiar territory, and it's funny because just prior to this meeting, I was watching a video that someone posted about accidentally writing songs that have already been written. There's definitely, we all have kind of our own sound, and I sometimes joke that there are certain bands where, like, I like their song, they have a good song, like Rage Against the Machine. I love Rage, they have an amazing song, and I love every single version of it that they play. It's like, I love Rage. The Ink Spots even more. The Ink Spots, literally start their song, every single song out the exact same way. Like you can't tell until the vocals come in what song it is. So I think that to a varying extent, you know, all musicians sort of have a few either like riffs or chord progressions or like even just a few different notes and different intervals that they like that appeal to them. Another good example is Alice in Chains. They love the close third vocal harmonies, which are very, very like it's like almost like a trademark of that band. When you hear that, you're like, oh man, that sounds very Alice in Chainsy. So people have, you know, they have their own styles and their things that they like, and I think they just kind of come out, they bubble to the surface when they're writing. So, especially with a band as prolific as Bare Naked Ladies, I don't think it's unusual to see them repeating themselves somewhat to a certain degree every once in a while. I'm actually shocked that we haven't heard more songs. And I was like, wow, that sounds very similar to that other one.
Well, as of 2 weeks ago, we're halfway through the catalog. So
we did it, Reddit.
Yeah. So and that's before B&L releases another album. Then right. The numbers all get reshuffled. But at least up until now, we're halfway through. And so, yeah, it's pretty surprising that we haven't heard more. But now that we're halfway through, we may start hearing more kind of repetitious type stuff going here on out.
I think the only thing I would add to the music thing that kind of, as a Harms guy myself, as someone who loves doing Harms, I can't not do Harms when I do a song. So I wish the Harms on this were mixed a little louder. I think they were kind of giving him an ethereal feel, but I wish the Harms were a little more present in the mix. But other than that was... Huh?
I have a song idea for you now.
Oh, dear
It's
God.
about a doctor who becomes a musician, and he just cannot resist adding harmonies to songs. It is called Do No Harms.
Dr. Do No Harms.
Dr. Do No Harms.
That is amazing. All right, well, let's talk about the lyrics a little bit. I will say that my favorite lyric out of this is actually in the bridge.
Same for me. I know the one you're talking about.
I don't think anyone expected them to spell laser with a Z.
I respect Ed for committing to the American pronunciation and pronouncing Z incorrectly. I think that he has a lot of guts for doing that for the rhyme.
I think what surprised me lyrically about this song is how tight the rhyme scheme actually is if you're really paying attention. I mean, it is a solid, both verses are a solid A, B, A, B, A, B. Like, it is a solid, and like, just some really fun little ones in there too, like menace, Venice, defenseless. And then you got attack, back, and track. But the way they spin that, which is more of a standard one, but the way they spin that is so great. The chorus is straight up A. I mean, it's A. Or CCC, however you want to put it. But then, back into the second verse, you get battle, rattle, cattle, power, cower, hour. Like some really solid little twist on the rhyme scheme there, and I really like that. But even though it's like it's cheesy, it's cheesy as all get out, but it's fun. But so is the movie. So I think that really worked for me. This song is better written than I expected it to be.
Yeah,
and the movie was better than I expected it to be.
I agree. I agree. I think it's funny if you remember, Jeff. I actually said something like, "This is the movie that Pixels should have been."
Yeah,
and that was as we were watching it. And I went out and Googled afterwards, and someone wrote an article. I wish I could find it that said, "quote unquote," Lazer Team is the anti-Pixels. So I was like, "Wow, okay." I was not the only one who thought that. It's so. I mean. And again, I don't want to oversell it. It's not like this is not
this
a
is not
groundbreaking film, right? But it sticks the landing. It really sticks the landing, and it accomplishes what it does well, and well enough that it was kind of a surprise. Obviously, not just me. Yeah, I really dug it. And the song, you could say the same thing. So I did want to ask one thing, guys. So the line "Okay, biracial alien kicking
I
ass
love
machine."
that. I actually do love that.
So is that a little nod to the fact that it's 3 white guys and a black guy?
Yes,
They're like,
yeah,
okay,
I think-
we
yeah, I
could
think
have been
so.
more diverse, could have had some women, could have had some other races, but it's not exactly a cross section of the world. But we tried, we did.
No, I actually laughed, and that was a good
that
little
was
because
funny.
they were getting back into the chorus, and the chorus repeats 4 times, so you get chorus. You're like, okay, this is gonna be one of those. We're gonna repeat chorus.
Yeah.
You get second chorus. That third chorus, I do like that. It's like the rule of threes. It throws that joke in there, and you're like, what? What did he just say?
And to
Well,
be clear,
and it's a play
they
on-
set it up with the line "a multicultural alien kicking ass
Yeah,
machine,"
right.
and then they're like, "Okay, biracial." Like, we're not
Okay,
gonna
biracial
oversell it
alien
here. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I like the fact that Ed could have just fixed that line, but he's like, no, I'm going to make fun of this cliche that's actually in there, and I'm going to double down on it and make fun of myself making fun of this.
Right.
And not to get too meta, but the whole premise is around these 4 very unlikely heroes, right? Who, by all initial inspection, seem totally not up to the task, not even close. And it's kind of almost like the film sets you up to be like, oh man, this is going to be cheesy. It's going to be very low production. It's going to be, and it's like, well, you know what? They pulled it out, and it wasn't, and again, it wasn't some kind of, it wasn't Kubrick or whatever, but it wasn't trying to be. It was trying to be a fun little sci-fi comedy romp, and it did it well, and it was satisfying. And same with the song. Go ahead.
Yeah, controversial opinion, but I actually did enjoy this movie more than the original Shining.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and assume you're joking.
I'm not joking. I'm actually not joking because I'm a horror fan, and that one gets me in trouble all the time. I don't like the original Kubrick Shining.
We gotta have a
as
separate
huge
podcast.
I know, but I actually did like this more than that.
Well, I can't say I liked it as much as the original Shining, but I did like it quite a lot.
I like the fact that he throws all kinds of little jokes in there, and he's specifically he's poking fun at the movie, but not poking fun at the movie because he's in some ways acknowledging that the movie is poking fun of itself. So, for example, that line that's in the bridge that's an intentional thing that's done in the film, but Ed's like, I'm just going to put it right out there and make it really obvious as well, since you guys did.
Well,
But
he was being self-aware, yeah.
Yeah, but he even does that at the very beginning of this song.
Because there's
in the
no
first
other
verse.
countries
He's
that
like,
alien
well, they could have
ships
stuck,
land on.
He
I mean,
goes
it's like,
for the
they
picking
always
on the
crash in
cliche
America.
of, well, they could have struck
Yeah.
from Tokyo or Venice, and they depended that they depended that we'd not fight back. So basically, they picked the U.S. soil to send all this stuff to because they depended on us not doing anything about it.
Well,
Exactly.
Yeah, we have more abductions per capita, and to be fair,
Is that true?
If any country is going to defend against alien attack, we have more guns than people in this country. So,
It's Independence Day all over again. Thank God the Americans came.
Adam did end up using a good old pump shotgun, 12 gauge, to help defend the Earth. So, I don't know. You're always like, oh, that's not going to do anything. It distracted the bad guy long enough to do its job.
Well,
Spoiler alert.
Well, yeah, and they do a great job, I think, in the movie, and Ed's doing it with this song as well. In they're referencing Independence Day, but they're like, we're going for the rule of threes, and we're gonna throw it out there, and then we're gonna joke about the joke, and then we're gonna joke about the joke of the joke, and make it really obvious that we've undermined ourselves from the beginning.
It's meta.
and I love that in writing, and I like that Ed is doing that in the song as well.
Well, it's funny because we mentioned being meta, and I think I brought up when we were watching the Show Me What You Got episode of Rick and Morty. It definitely had some parallels there. Oh, sorry, I couldn't let this slide, Jeff. When I mentioned Kubrick, I was obviously going for the Doctor Strangelove reference with the apocalyptic.
I know you were talking
they make
about
sense to me.
I love
It
a
really
lot
does
of
sum
Kubrick,
up,
but we'll talk about this another time.
What's going on? I mean, they say
Separate
right in the lyrics.
mini podcast.
The spoiler alert
but,
for anybody
I'd
who
be
hasn't
curious to
seen
hear
the
what
movie.
Stefan wants to say
I
about
haven't seen the
lyrics, 'cause
movie,
he hadn't
but
seen the film, so,
I can read.
I don't know
So
how much context you have.
I read the
or if
lyrics,
you knew anything
and
about the film. Did the lyrics make sense
well,
to
they
you? Were
said
they
that
funny?
they're
Did you enjoy it?
non-unified. So it's like it's a pieces of armor that where is it? I'm trying to find it here. Yeah, wait. It says pieces of armor that are ununified. He was supposed to be paired with a suit of power. So, like a snake without a rattle. We were impaired, but we could not cower. The same rhyme that Jeff says. I love the rhymes and thought they'd fly us like cattle. We weren't prepared for our finest hour. So it has a whole synopsis of what the movie is about right here. I assume it's 4 guys, and they're just guys, not just an alien kicking ass machine. So they've got lives to themselves, which is usually not what true heroes have. These guys are heroes out of pocket, and there's an interplanetary menace who will defend us. You could have struck Tokyo or Venice, but no, U.S. is a better target. And then and they depended on us to fight back because our election is crap. They might have thought the planet was defenseless because we're all idiots and we can't see beyond 4 years. Gotcha. Well, whichever. Yeah, the election happens every 4 years, Jeff, just in case you don't know. Then someone befriends us and we're on track. Yay! They've got friends. Okay, cool. And then they engage in a big battle. They have fun.
This was 2015.
They kick some alien ass. Yeah,
they saw it coming. Yeah,
they're biracial. Oh, absolutely. You gotta watch out with those who have mixed genetics, sir.
Biracially?
Wait, do they biracially kick ass, or do they kick biracial ass?
Biracial ass.
Ass biracially. Oh, whoa. That's controversial. So, yeah, I mean, to that point, I really like unlikely heroes. I mean, there's a few comparisons I could make. Ghostbusters, to a certain extent, like, those guys are so schlubby and everyday Joe. They're just basically like glorified ghost janitors, and that's why that's such a funny movie. It's the same here. I like to use a phrase sometimes when I'm insulting a piece of media, and I'll call it the dollar store X, right? But the thing is, sometimes you go to the dollar store and you find the off-brand version, and it's pretty much exactly the same thing, and it does the job just fine. This is an example of that. This is the dollar store Guardians of the Galaxy, but I mean that in the nicest and most positive way possible. Because they have that thing where they come together. They're a bunch of misfits, with the power of friendship, they kind of unify. That's the same kind of message, and it's definitely not this huge Marvel blockbuster, but it does the job, and
I was saying, like, what I see is a bunch of losers.
Dad brought home, Lazer Team instead of Guardians of the Galaxy, but the kids sit down and watch it. Oh, it's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good movie.
That was a hell of a scenario you just set up.
Sorry,
That's right.
I'm in an odd state of mind tonight.
What were you saying, Stefan?
Right. I'll go into battle with my spoon.
Yeah, people who have lost things.
You remember that, everybody, when there's an alien invasion and the Bare Naked ABC's team is called upon to save the galaxy.
We're basically like the Planeteers, but we all have the heart power.
Yeah. I'm all in support of an alien invasion here.
All we can do is talk to animals.
Heart.
You said heart, not hard.
If any of you guys have contacts and can pass the message along, and maybe
those are
two
different things.
You can count on us to step in and criticize what's going on.
I've used a flashlight a few times, but.
Oh man.
Tracy, they haven't called back.
They're just flashlights on sticks.
Your battle,
the handle.
your battle criticism premise. I need to see that as a movie now. Like a bunch of YouTube film critics get called in, and they're like, "Oh, those ray guns, they don't look very realistic." Ah. Oh God! It burns.
Tracy would be like, "How many beats per minute is that?"
Close encounters. Aaron's out there going, "Okay, A minor, C."
I'm like, well, you could have made it a little more interesting.
Right. I mean,
give me some harms.
You could have put a sus chord in there or something.
Where are the harms?
Do it
and
faster.
the trouble with Tracy with this invasion is
You're not constipated, are you?
Oh, there is a
Mashed
trouble with
potato
Tracy for
sculpture?
this song.
Really? Mashed potato sculpture? Come on, guys. You can do better than that.
but it means something, Aaron. It means
About Sith? As in, like, the Sith, right?
what is
I
the
have
trouble
two
with
troubles
Tracy?
with Tracy this week.
Uh-oh.
So,
Two.
first of all, I'm not a fan of synths. As most people know, I'm not a big
You're
fan of
racist
synths.
against robots, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yes, very much so. No,
Revenge.
synth.
Revenge of the
Sith.
Synths.
That's another one that you
Jeff,
have not yet written.
You
yet.
came here to dubstep me.
It's over, Anakin. I have the vocoder.
Sound! I hate sound!
Anakin, you were my analog.
Okay, back on track.
What's his metronome
Oh my
count?
god, now I want to make a dub
I
where
know, right?
after he gets put
He's
in
the
the
highest
Vader
metronome
suit, he's
count I've
always
ever
talking
seen.
through a vocoder where he's like auto-tuned.
No.
Oh my
Luke,
god.
I am your father!
Showed it.
Wait, pump up the beat.
Episode 4, The New Wave.
I'd watch that. Get some talking heads in there.
Yeah.
Aaron, the last time that you got me laughing about Star Wars,
Burning
we
down
started a
the
20-year hike on a movie. Come on.
Oh god.
Don't do this to me.
This is my nature, man. I don't actually do anything. I just come up with these silly ideas. And then people try and make them happen, and I'm like, no, stop. Wait,
no, stop,
Yeah,
don't.
I'm
No.
like Willy Wonka. No, stop, no.
Please don't turn
so
my brilliance into art.
I wouldn't go that far. That's overselling it. Thank you.
And that's the trouble with Tracy. Things aren't always under control.
So the trouble with Tracy is, one, I don't like synths, so I really don't like the beginning and the end of this song. I think the noises in the middle that kind of play this interlude in between verses works, but I'm just not a fan of the beginning and ending of the song and the synth that's kind of in the background during
You like
most of it.
The dubstep, but not the actually more 80s stuff. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm just not a new wave fan for the most part, and so I get what they're going for. It's just not me.
Whoa, you cut me deep. You cut me
Yeah,
deep.
man. I gotta go. I'm gonna have to listen to
hurting
Final
hard.
Countdown a few times after this to make up for
Oh
that.
man, I love new wave. So this that's actually most of what I listen to. So.
And then the other problem I have with this is, why would you write a song that has 6 renditions of the chorus, 4 of them at the very end, and cut all of that out in the movie during the credits?
Well, you
like,
can't
I
blame,
would
the,
assume
you can't
that if
blame
you-
the song for that.
I'm assuming
Yeah,
that
that
if you
wasn't
write that
Ed's
in
decision.
there, that you're told to write 4 choruses in there because you need to go on time or something. Like there's a timing component, or you're just like, you know that it's going to be playing in the background during the credits, and you're like, okay, yeah, let's just keep this fun going. But then to cut it out, you only have like 1 chorus done, and you don't even sing the first verse. Like, I don't understand.
Well,
Yeah, I probably would have stitched out a couple of the choruses at the end if I had to trim. That's just me, though.
I just don't understand the reason for doing it.
well, let me pull out my deluxe copy of the Lazer Team soundtrack on vinyl, and I think you'll be happy to know there's an extended version on there.
It goes 8 hours. of just...
There's probably one on YouTube.
No, I don't understand the reason for doing that if you're going to cut that during the credits, because I would assume that's the reason that it's in there, is to kind of keep that rolling, and and then it's not there, and so I'm like, okay, well, why am I listening to 4 versions of
True.
the
Tracy,
chorus?
But in
Tracy.
fairness, that's not a problem with the song, though.
Yeah.
It's a problem with-
Also, I have a 2-word rebuttal for your entire argument. Never-ending story.
I
Would
usually
you-
stop that at about the minute and a half
Would
mark.
you ever ask that song not to go on forever?
Actually, yes.
No,
no.
that song can never end. That's
No, that's a different song.
that's true.
Oh, dearie dear.
This
God,
is
I
the
could-
song that
I
never...
could,
man.
I could listen to Neverending Story for 8 hours on repeat.
Yeah,
I'll tell
same
you
though.
that.
And that
Man.
chorus is rocking.
That and the sitar part, like when that sitar.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Like that sitar electric guitar part in the middle. Oh man, God,
Yeah, good
every
stuff.
time.
That's
Anyway,
some classic 80s.
Yeah, it is.
I think the only saving part for me is the fact that Ed decides to, yes, put that change in lyrics in there about the second or third chorus recital in there, and then does the pun on that, and then goes back to the chorus again. Like that saves it a little bit for me.
I agree. They probably did it because they wanted to have this kind of long fade out on the chorus and have it repeating. Yeah, that's an issue. I would take it up with the film editor.
Yeah, it's not.
How dare you?
It's not uncommon though, Tracy. I mean, it's just from someone who loves sitting through credits because I love to hear what they do at the end. It's not uncommon for them to put the big theme song at the end, but only in a short burst. You know, show the cast, the actors, show the some of the main credits, and then it just kind of fades out, and then you get the score. You get a score credit. So that's pretty common for them to do that. But and then you go get a soundtrack, and then you get the full song.
Stupid.
What Tracy? Would it make you feel better if I re-edited the final battle and had the whole theme song playing
just
over that?
cranking the whole time.
Yes. During the whole thing.
Just drowning.
And then
out
it
the
has to be
dialogue.
followed up by it has to start off by playing the final countdown just before when the clock is counting down on the
Ouch.
football field.
There was no way this
That's
film could
funny.
afford the final countdown.
Yeah, that would have been half the budget right there. I don't know. Arrested Development used it like 20 times.
Well, and there was a commercial that had it, so maybe Europe has dropped their budget on it. I don't know.
Well, when they went to the Europe just kind of...
Topical.
Europe's like, we could really use the cash right now. You know what? Just give it to this
Yes.
cute little film.
Yeah.
Speaking of needing the cash, we do have a Patreon,
Well,
by the way.
definitely
People, please
safe
go up,
for
sign up for the
small
Patreon.
children.
Listen to Jeff and Stefan talk more about the songs that we've already covered, because these
Oh, yeah.
guys are hilarious as well.
Ooh.
$5 a month, and you get to hear
Uh-uh.
2 extra episodes
If
every
either
month.
find time,
Not safe for work usually, though. By the way, should.
Yeah, I feel like I should contribute something to this.
so one of the things this just
maybe
came to me.
maybe
And
Jeff
sorry
and I
for a
can
side
collaborate
note,
on
but
something
you guys
musical
are
for the
pretty-
Patreon
I got
fans.
some my side notes.
Hey,
but
oh.
I've
Not
played the
committing you,
video
Jeff,
game
just
don't
Borderlands.
No, that's
All I
fine.
could think of is
I won't say no.
It's like
I'm not gonna
he does like
ask you
this little
to, but I won't
dubstep
say no.
thing, and
No,
he's like
no,
his voice
I'd
is
love to do that.
like industrial. What? That's all I could think of is claptrap. So speaking of films, they're making a Borderlands film. So,
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's coming out
Yes,
too.
I love Claptrap. Wub, wub, wub. That's great.
Are they? I'll get excited for that when I finally get my Uncharted movie.
One of my favorite memories.
Waiting forever.
That's when you were
One of my
throwing
favorite
controllers,
memories
right?
of Dragon Con was one of my friends had one of those self-balancing
Gotcha.
gyroscopic claptraps, and I was controlling it. I was making it right around the floor of the convention and in Atlanta and talking to people with it and stuff like that. It was really, really fun.
Go in the desert. Oh my gosh. Where that has
Yep,
no reference
always throwing
whatsoever.
controllers.
Wow! At the audience.
That was. Did I tell you guys that one of the conventions that I was going to run it at was like, I have some safety concerns. It's not. It's comb the
No, we
desert.
don't.
By the way, I just had an idea for the Patreon that would totally piss Aaron off, though. I think when Aaron and I do the musical project, for like $3, you get half a verse and part of a chorus.
You have to do a
want the
DLC.
full thing,
Yeah,
you
get the
get a
DLC.
DLC.
Microtransactions.
Oh, if you want that third verse, you're gonna
You're
have,
gonna have to pay for
yeah,
the
you gotta
premium
pay.
gold package.
That's where the sweet glory is in the third and fourth verse. So you're gonna
You don't get the bridge without it.
no.
Oh, me. Oh,
So Jeff,
oh, me.
let's throw it over to you,
Well,
buddy.
you know what? I kind of
All
want
right,
to see the
so
film now.
for the ratings, this is going to be on a scale of 0 to 5 dubsteps.
I was watching Airplane before with the
And
podcast.
we are going
oh
to
my God,
start
that's just
with the man who has not
that's so
seen
bad.
the film.
So I mean, it can't get
Mr.
worse than
Stefan.
Airplane.
Yeah, the man who
It's
has
such a
not
good
seen
way.
this, you have
It's
not
such a
seen
good way.
Yeah,
It
you
is
should
absolutely, absolutely. It's great. It's great. Well, out of dubsteps. Here we go. Well, I like the laser
Did you say Airplane was bad?
music that goes along with it, and is clearly
I was
Ed
gonna
that sings
say,
it, and
Airplane
it's
is a
good
work
that
of
Tracy
genius.
brought that other song up.
And I will hear
it's
nothing
almost
else.
identical. The lyrics are fitting to the film. Would I say that they're like a hit record or a hit song? It definitely is not. Is it a soundtrack? Yeah, it definitely is a soundtrack, and it covers the film pretty well. What am I ranking here? So I'm not ranking really a song. I'm ranking a soundtrack for a movie. So, in my opinion, I think that's pretty decent. So I didn't mind it. Is it on my playlist? No. So I'm going to give it 3 dubsteps because I think that's fairly fair. Whoopa, 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 whoopa.
Three dubsteps from
Respectable.
Stefan.
3 dubsteps.
All right. Womp, womp, womp. Yeah, we don't usually do this very often. Let's go to Tracy next.
All right. I'm going to sound actually kind of similar to Stefan there. I draw the line on this one in that it is once again a soundtrack song. If you were putting this on a regular album, I think that it would fall apart for me because it doesn't give me much to go with. It only follows if you've watched the movie, and it only works with the movie. However, it's a good soundtrack song, especially for a theme song. And it goes well as the first song following up the movie. It keeps you in that good mood. But that being said, we're judging this based on it being a song. So I don't think it goes by itself. This is going to vary up from what I said about Green Christmas, though, because that also was very structured directly toward the movie itself. Most of my ranking on this song is going to be based on the fact that I just wasn't a fan of synths. I'm not usually a fan of synths. And the beginning and the end of this song didn't work for me. And the rest of it was just kind of, okay. Like, I will listen to it and I will sit through it at the end of the movie. I'm not going to sit
Tracy,
there, like, plugging
you
my
probably
ears
don't like the
because it's
synth because
horrible
it makes
or
you
harsh
feel
or anything.
a little bit old.
I'm going to enjoy it while it's playing on the movie, but I'm not going to go and seek it out. So I'm going to give this a 2.9.
Ooh.
Wow, okay.
What flavor of haterade you drinking over there? Electric blue?
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
That's like
That
a
hurts.
couple
Shots fired.
steps
What
short
is-
of Doc's dropping.
That hurts. That hurts, my friend.
Wow.
Especially since you graduated with me.
So I actually want to go next because I got to make a counter to the argument that's been made here, and I'm going to say this: some of my favorite songs of all time. Maybe this is nostalgia. Maybe this is my love of '80s new wave and
Back
stuff.
to the Future.
Some of my favorite songs of all time. Never Ending
St.
Story.
Elmo's Fire.
I love St. Elmo's Fire. Never Ending Story. Ghostbusters.
No, I was referring
Goonies-
back in time.
Goonies are
going
good
back
enough.
in time.
These are all movie songs. These are movies they're songs that were made for the movie, and they're good songs.
Yeah,
So
Ghostbusters is a bop.
They're right. And for Ghostbusters, I mean, it's still a power of love, but that can work outside the movie. But still, Back in Time. Oh yeah, absolutely. Back in Time is another great example. Now, these are ones that, they stick. Yes, do they work better if you've seen the movie? But yeah, they do. But I don't think that takes away from, the song value in that sense. So I think there is something to be said about that movie song that's just works for the movie. I felt that with this one. And then also, the first time I watched it, when I watched it again, I caught the second half when Aaron was watching it. And when it kicked in again, I was like, oh man, that's really cool. I love that. From a song standpoint, though, too, like I said, I think the lyrics are pretty clever. Are they smart, per se? Are they deep or profound? No. But they are good, catchy lyrics, and the rhyme scheme is amazing. I like the dubstep. I like the electronics. I'm a big new wave fan. I mean, Duran Duran, Pet Shop Boys, Erasure.
Nice, yeah.
These are Cure. These are some of my favorite bands of all time.
Love the Cure.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I just wanted you
love
guys
that
to know that
electronic
in this trying times,
this one did it for me.
with everything that's going on with the pandemic,
this
we
is one
really do
I would actually
need
play
a lot
this
more
in
Cure.
my car while driving and think of the movie and how much I enjoyed it. So I got to go high on this one, and I'm going to give this one a 4.0 dubsteps.
Nice.
Yeah, we do.
It's true.
Yeah.
Robert Smith, we know you listen. Come on the show.
Yeah, please, Robert Smith.
Oh man,
Let's
I would
talk-
just die. I would just actually be deceased.
It'll just be gawgawing over disintegration the entire time.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh God, the Cure.
All right. Well, following up with what Jeff said about sometimes a song being featured in a movie makes you appreciate it more. I was wondering how much that swayed me. I know for a fact that its inclusion in American Psycho makes "Hip to Be Square" a much better song.
Yes.
So I don't know, man. It does sort of actually, improve the context, and especially this, where it was literally written for the movie. I kind of agree with Jeff. Like I was going back and forth, like high threes.
Wow.
But knowing that 4.0 is our cutoff to make the playlist, would
and
I
that's
put
why
this
you
on
should
my
do
playlist?
Drugs,
I
Children.
think I might. So I'm gonna be in agreement with Jeff here and say I award Lazer Team a heartfelt 4.0
Absolutely.
out of 5.
Oh.
You got a little
Yeah.
brain issue
Wow.
going on.
And that brings it to a 3.48.
Respectable.
Respect.
That's-
yes.
And for those listeners that know,
Right, because then you score low.
Oh, ouch.
Look, the Beatles made all of their best music. No,
Right, exactly.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, I'm thinking Bill Hicks right now, but then you look at
Yeah,
all those people
yeah.
that are
so
like, don't do drugs,
where
like
can
MC
people
Hammer.
send their complaints or comments?
Keith Richards says, "Don't do drugs." We can't, Keith. You did them all already.
Now leave.
We have to wait till you die and smoke you.
Yeah, exactly.
I loved Bill Hicks. Why'd you?
Well, they can send all their complaints to Jeff,
Okay.
but they can send their comments to barenakedabcs@gmail.com. They can also come and see us over on Facebook at BNL Podcast, or just look us up as Bare Naked ABCs. We're on there as well. And you can also follow us on Twitter. I don't do a lot on Twitter.
Yeah, a word about this. We've decided before the show that once the FOM is over in March, Jeff is taking over the Twitter, and maybe you'll get responses. So go ahead.
I am not the most responsive person on Twitter. I will admit that. Email, I'd get back to in a day. Facebook, the same. Twitter may take a week or two.
Oh, that's
While Jeff pretty much
Which is
lives
ironic.
on Twitter. So.
wow. At least you haven't gone outside and dug a hole.
But,
for
you
me.
know, I got to tell you, Stefan, you've been really picking on me tonight, bud. Like,
Oh, no.
I'm getting to the point that I just can't stand to hear you breathe.
Well, I look forward
Like,
to that.
there's your
Wow.
shoes and there's the door. Jeff, do you know what song we're talking about next week?
Leave. It's leave. Yes, it's leave.
So next week, all the leaves are falling.
Oh.
And the sky is gray.
And the sky is gray.
Has anyone here seen the movie Shaolin Soccer?
No.
Oh, yes, I have.
There's a wonderful karaoke rendition of that. And when I say wonderful, I mean horrible but hilarious.
Oh, well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Thanks, that was fun. Don't forget, no regrets, except maybe